The United States of America's government should not be treated as a business. I think there are examples that we can find with our craft, such as crochet or other fiber arts, to remind us that capitalism is evil, the United States government should not be run like a business, and there are things that we working people can advocate for and demand better of our government. Thank you so much for listening, and I really appreciate having you here today. Fiber arts is a really punk thing that you can do, and it kind of goes against the grain of everything that we see. It's a form of self-expression, creativity, and a way to fight back against capitalism as we see it today. Capitalism is a plague within American society, if not the global society, but as an American, I can only speak from what I see here. And things that we see being charged, such as your health, water, and shelter, to egregious amounts is just not right. Seeing America's government as a business is not a good thing for you, a normal person, and how it only benefits the billionaires and the 1% in the United States of America. I do not support the current administration. I know a lot of people voted for Donald Trump because he wants to run the country like a business, and I don't think that is the correct way about going about it. Billionaires only know how to exploit, and I'll give them their flowers. They are going to do a great job at that and exploiting us as American citizens. There is absolutely no way in this world that you can ever work that would be worth $1 billion, if not more. It is unethical and immoral, and it really just complements capitalism in the fact that all you have to do is just hoard wealth. America is the richest country in the world, yet we experience so many depraved issues within our society. I think the government should be working for you, and you shouldn't be working for it. The government should be a jobs program, allowing people to have jobs and security and helping keep our country moving fluidly. We shouldn't be focused on profit. We see time and time and again in a capitalist country how profit exceeds the rights and needs of human beings. We see this with healthcare, using your health and making a profit off of it. We see it with landlords and privatization of homes, and we see the home crisis. Why does it cost for a normal person over $500,000 to own a home? You can look at so many different examples, such as just the water that you consume, or even higher education. The fact that it is just almost impossible and people are getting priced out of it is so wrong in our kind of society. At the end of the day, these companies, whatever they spend, they need to have more. They need to be able to hoard that wealth and keep it to themselves. I know we hear the anecdote of, oh, they've got mouths to feed too. Sure, definitely. But do you need the couple $100 million to afford a meal? I don't think so. The winners of this system are those who have more and more each year and continue to make profit off of you, who continues to lose more because everything is so expensive. The next way we can look at our crafts and think to ourselves, yeah, maybe the government shouldn't be run like a business, is because capitalism sucks. The main part about capitalism is to maximize profits. And we see that with our day-to-day creativity and hobbies. A lot of people want to pick up fiber arts, but I'm sure a lot of you have been greeted with, oh, how are you going to make money off of that? How can you make money off of it? Can you make a business out of this? Is it really worth your time if you're not profiting? And that is just such a cynical way of looking at it. I am not really a great person to look at because of it, because my career is built off of it, and there actually is no issue with making money off of your craft and your passion. Absolutely no issue with that. However, when it gets to the point where people around you don't see the worth in doing something unless you make money, if you yourself feel like you're not being quote unquote productive enough because it's not making you money, but instead you're finding joy with it, then you know it's become a disease within society. Capitalism sucks, and it takes the passion out of everything. You should be able to create because you want to create. You should be able to create because it is worthwhile, it is good for your soul, and it is just downright enjoyable. You should be able to find joy in these times while this administration guts and takes away trying to consolidate power. And we know when things are for profit and to be run like a business, it no longer serves the needs of the people. I know people think that businesses are good for us because they supply things that we need. Sure, we can go with that. But at the end of the day, they only exist to make money. A lot of these entities don't exist just to serve the population, and that is what the government should be doing. It should be serving the population and not making a profit off of it. Because at the end of the day, what do you become when you are just a cash cow? You're just a metric. You're just a wallet. There's no reason to serve you anymore because you have to pay for everything. If everything is becoming privatized, then it doesn't even matter if you're getting the best service or anything. We shouldn't be focused on people making more and more money. We should be using the money that is funneled into the government through our tax dollars, and we should use it for the general good, to get people resources, to get people out of bad situations. We should be using it so people don't even have to think about where they're going to get their next meal. People shouldn't be afraid to call an ambulance because it costs over like $3,000 to get to a hospital out of pocket. Absolutely absurd. Another reason the US government should not be a business is because corporate greed always seems to slither its way into these kind of entities. We see this with the downfall of companies. For example, since we're talking about craft and economics, let's look at Joann. Today is February 25th, 2025, and Joann has announced that it is going out of business. I don't know all the inner workings of Joann and what goes on behind the scenes, but that should not have ever happened. Like, are you kidding me? They've been in business for over 80 years, and they aren't just a yarn shop. Like, they actually have quite a cultural importance within our society, and this impacts people and their small businesses and their hobbies and their creative pursuits. And it's just a dang shame. I just can't even believe that's all happening. Like, how did Joann get to that point? Which we all can probably point our fingers towards the shareholders and what they expect from these companies. We saw with their first bankruptcy. Why are these positions getting these giant bonuses when people are losing hours in their jobs? Corporate greed always goes its way into these entities, and we see why, laws and everything have had to be passed, because corporate greed is just greed. You have to pass minimum wage because corporations aren't going to pay a living wage. We have to pass, protections for workers so they don't discriminate, which, the Trump administration has rolled back. Like, you can't trust a corporate entity. They're not here for us. They're here to make money. And I don't think you should ever trust these corporations. So yes, there should be regulation for these things. And with the US being a business, who's going to keep them in check? That is actually absurd. It's the government who keeps these businesses in check. And if the US government is a business, well, then that's that, right? Like, we can expect for them to take advantage of its people, of its citizens. And finally, straight up, the government is meant to work for you, not the other way around. Yes, the government has workers to keep it going, but it's supposed to be something that's for everybody. The government shouldn't be making a profit at the end of the year. That extra money that the government has that wasn't used for social services and social programs, it comes back to you in a tax return. Things that you use every day, such as your roads, things for everybody, such as access to a higher education, universal health care, put more money into the arts, put more money into tourism, put more money into maybe, I don't know, a high-speed railway for everybody. There are so many things with our tax dollars that we could be doing, and yet we don't do it. All we do is we bail out these giant companies. They make a giant profit, they get these tax cuts, and there's no repercussions to it, and it just doesn't matter. Everything is privatized unless the government jumps in to bail them out, because it doesn't seem like any company can ever keep themselves afloat. They always have to go into the government. If that's the case, why on earth would we ever make the government a business? They always seem to fail. At the end of the day, there's no checks and balances. It's just an individual and some shareholders who are so out of touch. And I just want to leave this on an anecdotal note. A lot of people are against the government, myself included. Of course, I hate the Trump administration, and even before the Trump administration, we see the Democratic Party and Republican Party letting its citizens down year after year after year. This is an issue with the status quo, and no matter what party is in there, the current Democratic and Republican Party are not here for you. The government has already been bought out. Now, they're just doing it in front of us. It's just really interesting that everyone hates the government. No one can trust it, myself included. However, when someone they know works for the government, they think, oh, that's actually a really good job. It comes with benefits. It comes with job security. It comes with this, that, and the other. And it's just one of those things where I feel like government should be a jobs program. It should be something that allows people to have its job security and benefits, which is a dystopian term in my opinion. And there's just so much that the government should be doing for its people, that people shouldn't be dying because they don't have the luxury of paying for insurance to ask for permission if it'll cover their costs. It's all just so ridiculous. And I know I can't put it all into one video, but I did want to be able to use our craft as a small way to kind of look internally and see, you know what, maybe what I see with the government isn't good. But you as an individual have a lot you can do, and there's a lot that you can advocate for. You don't have to be okay with this, and maybe something from this video, maybe you can use it as a talking point for someone who likes what they see. Billionaires should never be in control, and at the end of the day, the only thing they're good at is exploiting, and you and I are going to be their guinea pigs for this. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and thank you for listening to my opinions on why the US government should not be run as a business.